The queer Grammys recap. If this year's Grammy Awards are anything to judge by, it's a good time to be a music gay. More than a dozen LGBTQ plus musicians, writers, and producers found themselves nominees for Grammys this year. The LGBTQ plus artists who earned Grammys nominations in 2023 are Big Freedia, Brandi Carlile, Brothers Osborne, Honey Dijon, Kaytranada, Kim Petras, Sam Smith, Lady Gaga, Perfume Genius, Randy Rainbow, along with rapper 070, Michael Jackson and Jaquel Spivey, Toby Marlow and Lucy Moss, and Tony Kushner. Some of the most cherished moments of this year's Grammy are dedicated to the LGBTQ plus community. Sam Smith and Kim Petras won the award for Best Pop Duo Vocal Performance for Unholy. Kim Petras is the first transgender woman to win this award. Petras, who received a standing ovation during her speech, thanked the incredible transgender legends before her who kicked open doors for her, including Madonna and the late Grammy-nominated artist Sophie.
I'm going to pick up for you, Jamal. Apart from Sam Smith and Kim Petras, other LGBTQ plus artists who won Grammy Awards include Brandi Carlile and Wet Leg. First thoughts?
First thoughts is piggybacking off of your comment about Beyonce and that moment with her album being Renaissance, and it also tying in with the queer community. And this is a renaissance of the Grammys. We've never seen this much LGBTQ plus representation. Big shout out to Big Freedia for winning her first Grammy with the help of Beyonce. It's just, I think we're living in a time that we've never seen before, especially in the spotlight amongst celebrities and Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. It's been long overdue.
I saw Randy Rainbow's tweet this morning. He was totally fangirling on his role last night as being part of it. He was, I love him anyway, but
yeah, he's great. He comes here to Fort Lauderdale once a year. I think he's perpetually touring. But one of the things that we can talk about is Sam and Kim Petras' moment.
For sure.
I mean, and that he gave her the spotlight. You know, he's the name. I mean, no offense to Kim, but you know, it's Sam Smith. They're the name. But he gives it to Kim and lets her come out and do the acceptance speech. And that was probably the most moving LGBT awards moment that I think I've ever seen since and it was at the Grammys, the mass wedding they did about 10 years ago now. Yeah. The Grammys have been supportive of us for a very long time, but that was just, it gave me the feels.
You know, it was interesting as I watched that moment. My respect for Sam Smith increased dramatically, far beyond music talent. And the reason is because I think it was very clear that he understood the significance of them winning that moment. He didn't know that they were going to win, and they were in a category, quite frankly, that virtually all, and I mean it, virtually any of the nominees could have won that category. And so it was not a guarantee at all for him. And for Petras to be there, for Sam Smith to say, this is the first trans woman ever to win this award, and it brings the room to a stop, to standing ovation, is an indication of what the music industry thinks about our community. And at that moment, I realized, of course, the political eye and political lens, the Recording Academy and the people in that room are drawing a distinction against Ron DeSantis at that moment. Sam Smith, who is a gay man, he's going to voice support. The room is not, while significant, it's not an LGBT room. It's an ally room. And it brings an instantaneous standing ovation of support of Kim Petras and the achievement that Petras does, singing a song, Unholy. And when they perform later, Noah makes the joke of being on the phone with his mother going, wait, what's going on in terms, is the devil really actually there? and those jokes and the importance of the song, it really is a very significant moment for the community, which I think for years to come, people are going to be paying attention to. You thought as DJ.
You know, my thoughts as the DJ in the room, of course. I think the number one thing you can walk away from watching the Grammys last night, if you didn't watch it, I hope you recorded it, because the one thing that stood out more than anything was the word acceptance. Very welcoming. And what I actually really enjoyed was, instead of just wrangling the most famous person in the room to introduce the next artist of performance, they chose the biggest fans. And watching Brandi Carlile's wife and her 2 children introduce Brandi Carlile before she would, you know, get that opportunity to perform her song was just, you know, just another clear reminder that this is what all kinds of different types of families look like. So now you see it in the forefront, and by far best live vocal performance, I would have had to have given it to Brandi Carlile last night, for sure.
You thought Brandi Carlile was the best live performance?
The best vocal. Best live vocal
That's
performance.
Wow. And we have to take a moment to zero in on the hip hop.
Yes.
The 50th anniversary. Oh my gosh, what we watched was, I just couldn't believe it. I was watching with somebody who is not a hip hop fan at all, doesn't appreciate the genre, doesn't understand the music frequently, and I'm not saying that I do, but I kind of do. And
I don't believe you.
Well, it was funny, to that point, I went through 20 names. They walk out and start, and oh my God, and name after name after name, and I could do that. And he said, as we're going through it, wow, this is really, really good. And he's not a fan at all. So that's an indication they hit a home run.
I was just happy to see Flavor Flav.
Yes.
That was the best thing, just to see him out.
And you know, one last thing, if you haven't watched, make sure don't fast forward. If you've recorded it, don't fast forward. Or when you go back to watch it, don't fast forward through in memoriam. It was spectacular in terms of how they presented country music, and then pop music, and then hip hop in People Lost, and the people that performed through it. It was as good as I've ever seen that segment done.
Agreed, 1000%.
Just incredible. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.